Welcome to our all-new Louisiana state-specific combo. I, myself, just recently passed my Louisiana exam about 2 years ago, and I wanted to share all the stuff I learned about my personal experiences with you so you can get ready for your Louisiana state-specific exam. In Louisiana exam, I figure we'll break this topic up into a couple of videos. So the first video will introduce you to our great combo here, and we'll talk about kind of all my experiences leading up to taking the exam. And then we'll talk about the statutes, and then finally in our third video, we will discuss the practice exam, the exam content, and kind of the first-hand experience I had taking my exam just about 18 months or 2 years ago. So in the first video, let's take a look at all this great stuff. So to get a Louisiana combo, I put this together myself to pass my personal exam, and it took a long time. You know, this Louisiana exam is not just statutes. You can see the statutes are only about 200 pages, pretty slim in terms of state content. But we've also got this great list of books. Now, the books come from the Louisiana, the Lapels Blueprint, and you can see all of these books here on topics from federal surveying, like the BLM manual and the survey instructions, to Louisiana-specific PLSS instructions, acquisitive prescription, which is basically unwritten rights, water boundaries, ordinary low water, a history of Louisiana, all kinds of topics. Now, I knew I was going to like the Louisiana exam when I realized there were 3 water boundary sources just in this short book. Now, some of the books in here, some of the articles were very easy to acquire. Simply go online, you download them. Other sources took a lot of work. You know, going to a library, finding these old sources. I don't know why they're listed on the Louisiana exam if they're so difficult to find, but it did take a pretty substantial amount of time to get this book together. So I feel like this is one of the highlights of our Louisiana combo. Now, looking at the other materials you need to know, we've got legal aspects of surveying by the Louisiana Society, LSPS, great book. This is going to be kind of duplicative with the statutes in some cases, but there are a lot of cases in here that are very helpful, and a lot of, you know, kind of a short history of Louisiana boundary and property law. It's an excellent short little book, well worth the money. In SPS terms, everyone's got to have this book, have 2 copies, give it to a friend. The next really helpful book is this Federal and State Lands in Louisiana. Now, this is published by John L. Madden, and I can tell you that you absolutely want to bring this book with you on your exam because there's going to be weird questions, you know. And when I studied for my Louisiana exam, I went through here and I highlighted so much stuff in this book. And it's just fascinating, the history of Louisiana, the 2 territories, the civil law from the French. You know, it kind of reminds me of Texas because Louisiana has been governed by so many different sovereigns over the years. But I went through this and I tabbed it, I highlighted it, and what's crazy is a lot of the tabs and highlights that I thought would be important were on the exam, and I went directly to them and answered the question. So very useful book, no doubt. And then we've got the 2 mainstays, Gordon Waddell's Legal Descriptions and the BLM Manual of 2009. Have the BLM Manual. I can't tell you that you're going to use it a lot on your Louisiana exam, but it is definitely good to have as a general reference. And you may come across some very basic PLSS questions on the exam that you may want to just verify are correct. And then finally, of course, you've got the Louisiana full-length practice exam. So this is all combines to make the combo. All right, so my personal experience taking the exam. I'm not going to say Louisiana is as friendly as Alabama. Alabama gets like a 10 on the friendliness score. But Louisiana was very easy to work with. The administrators at the board were friendly, they were helpful. I submitted my NCEES record, I submitted their application with the basic info. It all combined over a few months. And I was kind of in a rush for this exam because I have a contract with the federal government to deal with some state lands, federal lands in Louisiana. They asked me to get licensed before I submitted my contract with the government. So everyone kind of kicked into high gear to get this application submitted quickly. And it only took a few months to get approved. It took, I think, a month or 2 months to get scheduled on the exam. So it wasn't a fast process. This is not like Alabama speed. But on the other end, it's not California speed either. So Louisiana was straightforward, submitted my NCEES record, submitted the Louisiana application, gave him some little bit of extra information, and it went quickly. Once your application is approved, which I do believe requires a board meeting, which happens every quarter, then they are going to send you a Zoom invite, just like you're going into a meeting with your company or something else. And you log in to the Zoom meeting with the LAPELS board administrator, and the administrator administers the exam online in the comfort of your own home and office, and it is a much easier process than going to a testing center. I was in the process of getting licensed in Virginia at the same time as Louisiana, and I just wanted to pull my hair out with Virginia because you got to travel. So overall, getting approved and taking the exam for Louisiana is a simple process, straightforward. The board is helpful, and we will call that maybe a 3 out of 10 on the frustration meter in terms of board exam signups. All right, so let's move on to our statutes in the next video, and we'll talk about all the different statutes you need to know to pass your Louisiana exam. If you found this video helpful and informative, I would appreciate it if you would hit the thumbs up button to like the video, and then go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That way, more people can find this video and it can help them. Plus, when you hit the subscribe button, you'll be able to watch the newest NLC videos as soon as they come out.